All right. It says that the Hangout on air is live, and I got my little live icon over there. So, all right, welcome, gang. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right, all right. We are here, back from a short hiatus. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't know how to turn those alerts off. So, I've been gone for 2 weeks. Thank you for Dan and Lynn for taking over that 1 week. And then last week, I actually had oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my embed code. So just hang out for a little while. I'll just talk as I go. So one of the things that I do on here is I need to get an embed code of the Hangout. And what I do is, because right now nobody's watching without that code, video embed, here we go. And then I need to put it into our website. Yeah, so I left April 3rd and I went to Austin, Texas. First time ever in Austin. A lot of firsts for me this last couple of weeks. Just the fact that I took 2 weeks to go someplace is a first. I don't know when's the last time I've been away from home that long. You know, when you're working every day, you don't even think about going on any kind of vacation because if you're off from one job, you got to work the other job, and it's hard to get vacation or time off from both jobs, right? So a lot of firsts for me. So 2 weeks, um, 2 weeks away, and hang on a second. I gotta find our team page. Here we are. Went to Austin, Texas, and I want to get this up and running before I share everything that happened over in Austin, because right now people aren't seeing me. Insert. And then save. And we are saved. Okay, so let me just double check. Save and close to make sure that we are live on our webinar page. Somebody join us, I can't see. Okay, good, we're live, we're live. All right. How's that for winging it? Who we got, who we got? Marvin. Hey Marvin, I'm gonna mute you out. Or can you mute out? I got you. Okay, so back to my story. 2 weeks. Sorry for that short delay. 2 weeks I was gone. I left April 3rd and I went to Austin. I got there on the 4th, about midday. The 5th, 8 o'clock in the morning, our first class started. I went to see a gentleman by the name of Dr. John DeMartini. He is a polymath. It's the first time I ever heard of what a polymath is. Polymath is a guy who studies everything. He studies multiple stuff, subjects or ologies. He studied every ology. He studied science from the beginning of man, from the beginning of life on Earth. He studied religions, just about every religion, and his whole drive was to find answers. Research is his thing. He just loves to do research and he loves to teach. And it was a calling that he got when he was 18 years old, he said. So I had been in a 2-day seminar with him back in September, October of last year. And Jem was there. Jem flew in from Australia to Hawaii and saw Dr. Demartini. And this is the book from the Breakthrough Experience, Demartini's Breakthrough Experience. So this was the book for 2 days, or was it 2.5? I forget. It was pretty intense though. We went one night till 2, from 9 in the morning till 2 a.m. I believe, something crazy like that. And then we came back 9 o'clock the next morning, and I think we went to about 8 that night, 7 or 8 that night. This time, right, the 5th at 8 a.m. we started class. This is the textbook that he wrote. This is volume 1. We went through 2 volumes in 7 days. Him lecturing at the front of the class, going through this entire thing, page by page, and he wrote it, so he knows everything that's in here. And he would read just about every single page, and he just read it, and when he found something he wanted to elaborate on, he would stop and he'd talk about it, and we have open discussion. 7 days. The first 6 days went from 8 in the morning till 10:30 at night. One night we went to 11. We broke for an hour for lunch. We had 20 minutes to order our dinner. Then he would let us pick it up and we'd eat in class for dinner at about 7. And then we'd go till 10:30, 11 o'clock. And you know what? I wasn't tired. I wasn't in pain or anything. I mean, I would get sleepy, stand up, we'd go down, get coffee, bathroom breaks, whenever you're ready, just go. It's very, very casual, very open. But holy smokes, he went through, this is called a life mastery seminar, the rules of leadership and empowerment. So 2 volumes, just under 1,000 pages that he wrote, and he took every ology. See, here's the thing that I like about him. I've been on this personal development journey since 2009 when I started my very first network marketing company, and I was introduced to Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I highly recommend him. Look him up, YouTube him. He's got a lot of videos out there. He passed away probably 2010, 2011, something like that. But a lot of great teachings. And I had a CD, a burned CD that I got from somebody that I would listen to every time I drove my car. Every time I was in my car, that was playing. If my wife and kids were in it, they had to listen to Jim Rohn. I got to a point where I could recite just about word for word everything he was saying, because I latched onto it. I locked into what it was that he was teaching. And so Jim Rohn was like the very first person, and then along the way I got to hear other people. Tony Robbins is another good one. Started reading some Rich Dad Poor Dad Kiyosaki stuff. But Demartini, okay, so what a lot of people do, they talk in stories, because sometimes you kind of get it, when you hear a story. But I needed something more concrete. A lot of the time I would kind of get it, I kind of understand what they're saying. It's almost like a different language that you understand, but you can't speak it. For example, like a saying would be success leaves clues, right? So, okay, success leaves clues. So what does that mean? Well, you follow people who are successful and see what they do, right? But still, it's not very concrete. I needed something concrete, and that's what Demartini brings. He brings the science in with the ologies, and explains what it means exactly, and why success leaves clues, and geez, there's so much It's hard to go into everything on a 7 day thing. I don't know what the hours are. 8 to 11, 8 to 10 is what, 14 times 6. The last day, I don't know. You do the math. It's long. I would never have sat in school like that. But when it's something, here's something that DeMartini says. So everybody has values um, that they feel is important to them. He calls it the hierarchy of values. And in our elite recordings, one of his facilitators, Jonathan Sugai, explains the hierarchy of values. And when you are living in according to your values, when you're living congruent in line with your values, meaning your decisions that you're making is based off of what you value most, and that what you don't value, you either throw it away, you don't do it, you delegate it, or you do it later, right? Because you're on a mission, you have a purpose that's fulfilling to you, and when you are focused on your highest values, you are inspired from within. You're inspired from within to do whatever it takes to get it done, and you will endure both pleasure and pain in pursuit of those highest values. Whereas when you are living by the injected values of others, like say your boss, right? Your boss has certain values that he tries to inject on you. Sometimes your parents, sometimes it's peer pressure, right? And they're telling you what to do, and you're following them because you're thinking that that's what to do, but in your head it doesn't make sense, and you start feeling stressed, right? One way you can tell is you need motivation from without, from outside of you, to keep you moving forward, because you're not inspired to do the work. You're not inspired to do whatever it is, you know. Um, Motivation from without, and frustration, guilt, stress, all of that is a sign that you're living by somebody else's values, not your own. Inspiration, being able to sit in class for 14 hours, 6 days in a row, 7 days, and not complain about it, and just absorb everything you can, everything you're able to. That's being inspired from within. You know, when you get up at 4 in the morning, like I did this morning, to get work done on my business, I was writing emails and blogs, and editing some recordings I had. That's inspiration, and I'm not tired. You know, you just keep moving forward. That's inspiring, and you do whatever it takes. You don't care what you got to go through to get there. Just get there. That's all that matters. That's when you know you are living that inspired life in congruence with your highest values. So that's one of the biggest things that I've always remembered about Dr. DeMartini. If you want a book to read, he has a book called The Values Factor. There's another book called, I have it on Kindle, it's called The Breakthrough Experience. But this is one of the books he talks about, explains values and how we make decisions based on our values. I got a bunch of books here that I'll share with you guys as I go. So, as you can see, the topic of today's discussion amongst those that have joined us is personal development. What are you doing? I listen to podcasts. I listen to recordings. I watch videos. Right now, DeMartini trumps everybody, so I have a hard time listening to other people, to tell you the truth. I'm hooked on what he drilled into me. And Ray was there too. Ray sat with me, you know, we roomed together, we were totally immersed. I kind of miss him now. It's been over a week and I haven't seen him since he left. Another good thing is, after that, right? After that, our 7 days, I flew to Oregon where I met my wife, and she and I, first time ever, right? First time ever did a wine tour. So in the Yamhill County in the Willamette Valley, um, it's all wine country now. And I didn't know this, but they're on the 45th parallel, which is even with France. And they got some great wines. I had an awesome time. We did another tour in downtown Portland. We got to stay in a classic old hotel from like the 1800s. And there was a tour. They call it the Shanghai Tunnels Tour in underground Portland. That was pretty cool. We did, got to spend time with my sister and her kids and her husband and some college friends. In fact, while there, I'm going to be coming out with another recording and audio. I did an interview with my former roommate and teammate. His name is Doug Heyer, also from Hawaii. He played offensive line. He went on to play professional ball. He did a little stint at Seahawks. He went into Canada, played for the BC Lions, came home or came back to Oregon, and started coaching football. Went to our college, Linfield College, and continued what we had learned there. And um, football, you know, it's like life. You go through a lot of ups and downs. You go through winnings and losings, and you go through just one-on-one battles. Overcoming odds, and you got to work hard for what you want. Everything that is taught on the football field is always, every coach I've ever had always um, compares it to life. So I had this inspired thought as I was going up to Oregon. Why don't I interview Doug? And I found out, I knew that our school had a long-standing record for most consecutive winning seasons, which means they won more games than they lost. 60 years right now, ongoing. So last year was the 60th consecutive winning season at Linfield College. That is the longest running record of any level in the nation. 60 years of winning. What does that tell you? They're doing something right consistently, because not every year are they champions, but they're never at the bottom. They're never at the bottom of the barrel. So one thing we learned again from DeMartini is follow the mean, right? Emotions will oscillate up and down. Good days and bad days. Even in business, you'll get good days and bad days. But as long as you stay the course, you stay moving in the right direction, you're always going to be moving forward no matter what happens. Football's the same way. You win some, you lose some. But for 60 years, they're doing something right. They're doing something right. So Doug has been with them for 17 years, coaching. He's associate head coach. He does on offensive line. He's also the AD, but he explains it all in the interview. So it's a freaking awesome interview. And I'm going to have that available. I'm going to post it up in our groups and stuff, and I'm going to make a blog on it and everything. But talk about 60 years of success on the field and what they teach. So I'll have that all linked up when the time comes. That's one of the next things I need to do. Before I bring on our first guest, I will share another book. This is called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. This is a pretty good book, 4-Hour Work Week. Escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. Tim Ferriss also has a podcast that I listen to. This guy is super smart. I mean, the vocabulary that he uses is highly intelligent. So I've gone through the beginning of this, and I got so many books. I kind of just jump back and forth, and I get little nuggets here and there of things. Um, so anyway, we had Meg and Joe, right? You guys want to come out? Um, and
Hey.
so that's a little quick thing I did on my last 2 weeks, and we're talking about personal development. I've gone through all kinds of things over the last nearly 7, 8 years.
Right.
So what have you guys done?
So, I mean, we are a little bit more, we're new to this particular business, and it's been a lot different. I've done home business type stuff in the past, and it was nothing like this. So it's been like a great transition for me, and then all the motivation and like the constant accountability from the group to work on your own personal development. So one thing that I've been doing I mean, I've been reading books and I love 4 Hour Work Week because I work from home, like, because Joe works really hard at his full-time job, and so I'm able to like really focus on our business, and I do some work from home that, I get like a salary for. So I'm very, very lucky, but I find myself getting pulled into that, like, oh, well, I can kind of do it later, because I feel like sometimes I feel like I have too much time to get things done, and so I'll put them off and put them off and put them off. So I really like 4 Hour Work Week. I love Tim Ferriss, and I follow him on Facebook. So that's one of the things that I've actually done to increase my level of like positive influence and to get ideas. Is I've been taking people down that are bringing me down. Like, so when you're looking through your feed, and if you see something that isn't like positive or motivating or makes you feel better or good, then I don't really want to see that stuff. So I've been taking that down, and for like the last week I've been doing that, and now I feel so much better like every time, and now I'm learning a lot more. I'm getting a lot more interaction with people who have meaningful like things to share, more motivating things. I'm seeing a lot more of like Tim Ferriss and Bentinho Massaro. He's kind of I don't know, new agey sort of teacher that, I don't know, how would you describe Bentinho? So like we both listen to Bentinho a lot, so
Yeah.
you go to
So
work.
like yeah, then at work a lot of times, like when I'm doing inventory or I'm cleaning up at the end of the night doing dishes and I don't have to talk to my coworkers or anything like that, I'll pop in my headphones and I'll find a YouTube video or something like that to listen to, just sort of put me in the right mindset, especially when I'm feeling frustrated. And that's been one thing that's really helped. Not just with getting through the workday, but just in my life in general. Because having one thing that most personal development teachers talk about is maintaining that positivity, because that's what you're attracting. The more you find yourself in the positive state of mind, the more that's what you bring into your life. And so a lot of what Bentinho Massaro talks about, it's very similar to Dr. Demartini in some ways.
Yeah.
He also goes more into the spiritual aspects, but he has a very strong empowerment teaching, and mainly it's how to use your internal guidance system, which is how you feel. So do you feel good or do you feel bad? And if you feel good, that's great. That means that what you're doing resonates with you. That what you're doing is helping you, and it's aligned with your truth.
Yeah.
And if you feel bad, that's okay too. That because it's your body's and your spirit's way of telling you that you're not in alignment. You're doing something that doesn't correspond with the way you truly feel about the world and the way that your life is going. So using that, so instead of dwelling on, oh, I feel bad, I can say, okay, well, I must not be looking at the situation the right way. Instead, I'll find a different perspective, and by shifting perspective, then you can kind of take charge of all the little things in your life, especially the things that make you upset.
Yeah, it's like The Secret.
It's like The Secret, yeah. It's the same kind of concept.
Yeah, I was listening to Bentinho earlier while I was doing the dishes. So like while I do like household stuff, I'll listen to YouTube or whatever, and he says, what was it? It's important to think outside the box, but you have to be able to realize things. So you have to believe outside the box too. Like you have to pick something that it may be unbelievable right now, but you have to believe that it's possible. And it's sort of like that begin with the end in mind, like, the 7 Habits kind of thing, where you already see yourself at the end of whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life. So like, you know, you already see yourself like every month, this month. Like starting this month I make $100,000, and you start living in the way that you would live if you were already making that money. And so it takes that, like, begin with the end in mind, like to the next level, like see yourself already there, and then begin living in that way. Like if you want to, it kind of, again, like The Secret, like if you want to take a trip, start buying things and packing, you know, for that trip. And so when the opportunity comes along, you just be like, sure, and you just close up your suitcase and head out the door, you know, because you're ready. You've been preparing for it, and you've been putting in the effort and taking all of the actions because you have a definite, like, clear path ahead of you. Like, you know where your end is. So all you have to do now is just figure out the little stuff that gets you to that end. And it really does feel like little stuff at that point. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, step here, step there, step here, good to go. And yeah, so I mean, I really like Bentino. I would check them out, definitely. I recommend it. Yeah, and then the usual suspects, you know, like Who Moved My Cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese?
Which is, I'm already ready to read that one. So yeah, but that's basically what we've been up to, and learning some new development stuff and like programming, and you know, working on like that technical aspect of the business, being able to set things up and being able to like teach people how to set things up, and learning the language of somebody who maybe doesn't know as much about computers, because I'm super techie, so sometimes I'm a little too technical, and so I'm kind of learning how to, and I can thank my mom for that, 'cause she's like gave me the best training on how to teach somebody how to use a computer. But so yeah, that's basically what we've been up to. I'm super stoked about you guys going to DeMartini though. Like, I'm a little jealous, but
yeah, it seems like you guys had a good time.
it sounded intense. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was super intensive. But can you put that guy's name in our chat, or in the thread?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So we can look him up.
Yeah, and he was just in Hawaii too. Like, he was on Maui, and did like a big retreat thing, and we didn't hear about it in time to like go and get the discount. And it was like a lot more to pay for it. Like right away, we were just like, we'll catch him the next time. It's supposed to be a yearly thing, so we're pretty stoked about next year. We're definitely going to be meeting this guy, because he seems like he's, you know, I'd love to just sit down and have a conversation with this guy. So yeah, for sure.
What I like that matches DeMartini is about, you know, when you were saying, Joe, you're talking about being happy, but then also when you're sad, there's a reason or there's something behind it. So like what DeMartini says is, if you are, he calls it infatuation. If you're infatuated with something, or if you're happy with something, or if you're like super supporting or looking up to somebody or a thing, it's an infatuation, and you're only seeing the good. You are not aware of the bad, because there's always a bad with the good. That's one of the things, and he scientifically proves how an electron and a proton are entangled. So when you pull them apart, and what happens to them, like you turn one way, the other one turns the other way, no matter how far apart they are, and you know, the balance of a atom that needs the opposite, right? Like, I was an electrician for 14 years, and when we hooked up a house and we ran all our wires, we got a black and a white, which is opposites, but they're also a positive and a negative. And a light will not work with one or the other. It needs both. So a lot of times when we were troubleshooting, we would check. We have a little meter that would beep whenever it got next to a charged line. So if something didn't work, we would try and beep it, and if it didn't beep, we would say, oh, okay, we're missing the hot, try to check the switch or whatever, or we're missing the positive. But sometimes we would beep it, and it still wouldn't work. And then we would go, oh, now we got to check the neutral, which is the negative, because we might have lost that. So it's either, it needs both to make light.
Yeah.
You know? And everything is like that. There was something else you were saying, Meg, that I forget. What did you say after Joe talked? I forget, but I had a comment. Anyway.
We'll come back to it. We'll loop around. I'm sure you'll think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see what that guy's some of his work.
Yeah. But maybe it was the think outside the box thing. You have to realize outside the box. You have to believe outside the box.
Oh,
Possible.
yes. So I had learned from a guy named Jason Barber. No, Brandon Barber. Um, it was like a 6-week teleconference class thing I did years ago, and it's the be do have and have do be. A lot of people think they need to have something in order for them to do something before
Right.
they can be something, right? So I need to have all the information before I'll put any plan into action, and then I'll be successful.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's actually opposite. You need to be a successful person inside. You
Yeah.
need to be that success. Then you'll do what it takes, and then you'll have everything you want.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
yeah. So I think the good thing about listening to other people and other gurus or whatever you want to call them is they have different angles and different stories and different ways of looking at the same thing basically.
Yeah.
And when you connect with somebody that on that level, it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. It just resonates. Like
Yeah.
you just yeah.
I
Definitely.
like that word resonate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he uses that one a lot too. Like, just take whatever resonates and just leave whatever doesn't. Like, if this isn't working for you right now, then don't worry about it. You know, he'll always say like, relax or don't. I mean, wouldn't it be really stressful if you had to relax? You know, and so he just like already like you're like, okay, this guy's cool. You know, it's like, and then everything. And sometimes he'll go off on these tangents, and he's so like, wow, you need to slow down. Like I need to process some of this. Like it's really cool. So I think you'll dig it. I think you'll like it. Definitely check it out.
You know, Pocky, like what you were just talking about with the have do be versus the be do have. You know, I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have heard of The Secret. That's a pretty common one, but I think that's sort of like one of the underlying things that a lot of people miss about The Secret and the Law of Attraction is that you can't just think about, oh, what do I need to have to get where I want to be. You have to just be what you want to be now, and then the rest of it will come. You will start to get the things that you need to have, and then you will be able to do whatever it is you need to do. But you got to be first.
Yeah, you attract it. That's the whole point. You know, whatever you are thinking about is coming to you. So if you think about, we're making $100,000 this month, then that's going to happen. And it may not be this month, but if you keep thinking about it, it will eventually be a true statement. I will make $100,000 this month, whenever that month comes, and I'm not going to be upset if it takes 10 months for that to happen because I've made $100,000 in that month. So I'm going to be
And we know it.
about that. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I remember trying to get to that $10,000 a month. I kept saying I'm going to get 10,000 a month, 10,000 a month, and I think the best I had done was around 5 or 6, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm at 20. I just flew by 10,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the word resonate and the law of attraction is all based on energy, right? And
Right.
vibration. Electricity vibrates,
Yeah.
and everything is based off of vibrations and stuff. That's why like attracts like. It's like magnets, right?
Water seeks its own level. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will always.
And another thing that I was thinking about in DeMartini's class with the positive and the negatives, we wanna find the neutral ground, right? That's when everything is how it's supposed to be. When you're neutral, you're not overly infatuated or overly resentful. You're accepting everything as is, right?
Yeah.
Well, the the acid to base scale of water,
Right.
right? 7 is neutral. When you start going lower, you get more acidic, and that's
Right.
not good for you. When
Right.
you start going higher, you get more caustic, and
Right.
that's not good for you.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yep. Any extreme.
Neutral is where you want to be.
Yeah. That's the only thing the Greeks really got it right, and yet couldn't follow their own advice. But moderation is the key.
Yeah.
If they could have only followed their own advice.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having us
you.
on.
Stick around. Stick around.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me pull out Jem from down under with the sexy accent.
Bukkake.
Hi. You went to. I thought that was super cool. You came to Hawaii for our event, but you also scheduled the DiMartini the week before, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. It was funny because at the time he was coming to Australia, but it was going to clash with the Catalyst event that we had last year, and I really wanted to attend Catalyst, so I thought, oh well, why not do it with everyone over there? So it was such a great experience, and an intimate group as well. You know, it was quite a small group, so we had the opportunity to I don't know, to probably hear more things than maybe he would share in a larger group. And yeah, it was a life-changing experience for me, particularly that method of neutralizing events, you know, related to people, places, or things that have had a big impact in your life. And yeah, he's an amazing human being, and just such wisdom, and so no, it was really good. But I'm so glad Meg mentioned Bentino, because I follow him as well, and it's funny because I've got my little Let Life Surprise You book here, and I've got a quote of his in here that I read every day. So I list my gratitudes in here, and I've got, everything is going so well for me on all levels, in all ways and always, till no end. And that's one of his quotes that I sort of read out every day and just really feel into that, because it's not just about saying it, it's also about feeling that emotion as well. And he's fantastic, Bentino. I love his work. He's just, really old soul and just full of wisdom for his age, and very much on that personal development side of things. So yeah, he's really good. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for personal development, just journaling a little bit more and just writing out my gratitudes, and I've felt that's really helped set my day, to really be in the best mindset, because, we all go on these tangents sometimes of, can I do this? Is this going to work for me? And, all of those little mind chatter, negative emotions come up. But it really helps set your day out. And something else that I've done too is I've actually written myself out a job description because, transitioning from, when we start work, we're virtually told what we do at our jobs, right? We go in, we've got a job description, okay, we've got to do X, Y, Z, and so we're just conditioned to that type of thing. And I feel that this has sort of helped me really transition as well. And, we've got our main tasks that we're doing every day, like reading and audio and marketing and emailing our list and masterminding, but fleshing those out a little bit more into discrete tasks, and then setting aside time to do those. So that's what's really helped me. And in addition, to reading, it's funny because I picked up the Think and Grow Rich. That's the original edition. So I read it a long, long time ago, and I thought I'll reread it again. It's such a lot of information to digest. So yeah, so that's sort of all been helping me. And in addition to our affirmations, so I've also got my little 2016 Gem Creations here, which is a list of my affirmations about what I want to achieve. So some of them are like, I make 3 trifecta sales per month. Making money comes easy to me. I am a great entrepreneur. Every business I start is a success. My mind, body and spirit is financially free. I am a great leader and provide a wealth of value. I have more than enough money to pay my bills. I am a great provider for myself and my family. I am a loving free spirit and inspire greatness in people. I am a cash millionaire. I build my home base for cash and travel the world to experience life and share my love and joy with people. I help 35 people become 100K earners in the next 12 months. I eat healthily every day. My mind, body, emotions and spirit are energized beyond words. My contented mind, body and spirit is a continual feast. My life is a joke. It's fun, it's laughter, it's an illusion. It's short, so have fun while you're here. So yeah, that's what I've been doing to, help keep my mind in that place of taking action every day, working towards my business.
Wow, that is awesome. That is great, Jan. You know, I I need to work on that. You know, I know that writing things down, first of all, is huge,
Yeah,
especially in your tasks, what needs to be done. Because a lot of
yeah,
times,
yeah,
personally, I'll try and keep it in my head what I need to do.
yeah.
So writing it down just lays it out, and it's like building a house with a blueprint. Okay, step
Mm,
one, step two, step three. Um, and DeMartini talked about that in our business side, in our vocational. Um, a lot of times, like me personally, I'll have things in my head and I'll try to remember. I'm thinking that, yeah, I'll remember it when I need to do it, but then I forget it. Then I get upset at myself for forgetting it.
yeah,
So you write it down and you pencil in the priorities, and
yeah,
then you divide it up into daily tasks
yeah.
and you pencil in the priorities. The reason you pencil it in is because something might pop up that might take priority over what you're doing. I had that happen to
Exactly.
me several times yesterday, where I had to adjust what I was doing because I wanted to get some stuff done, but my wife called me and I needed to go pick up my daughter last minute. So I had to
Yeah.
stop everything, get my daughter, come back, try and get started, take her to practice, come back, get back into what I'm doing. But yeah, when you have it written down, then there's one less thing to think about, or maybe even
It
30
is.
less
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. Meg mentioned, sometimes having too much time, you tend to put things off, and I've done that as well. I think, oh, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. But I found, just writing out the tasks like this, and then I also found this little nifty daily planner that I can just write out, okay, which ones take priority for the day, and do that the night before, and then just tick them off, during the day, and just doing it one day at a time rather than thinking, oh, I've got to do this, 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 and then getting a bit overwhelmed and then not doing anything. But just chunking it down like that has just really helped. Yeah, get into a bit of flow and get things moving. So yeah,
I use Evernote on my phone, um,
yep, yep,
and you can put little check marks to show that it's done, but it's still there. So I know what I
yep,
did, and I can add and check off as I go. So a lot
yeah.
of lot of little tools you can use to be organized and
You
having.
can, yeah, yep. I use Evernote as well too. I tend to use a blend. I find like just the act of writing it out for me just helps. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in the in the 80s and just used to writing stuff out. But yeah.
No, I
So
get you. I get you. There's something in the act of writing that brings some kind of tangible thing to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And and the affirmations, that was great. Did um
yeah.
did you being able to write it the way you did you study that? Did you learn that from somewhere, or did you just
No,
come up with
well,
it?
a few weeks back, I think it was on a call. One of the team calls, Ray, was talking about this process, and actually some of these, because Ray read out some of his, and I thought, oh, that's such a great affirmation. So some of them are quite similar to the ones he's written out, but then I added more in as to you know, to what I achieve, and yeah, just sat down and just wrote from the heart about what I want to achieve. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much, Jem, for sharing that with us.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, I see that downtown Jerry Brown has jumped on the line. Hey, Jerry. Thank you, Jem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Pocky.
All right, so we are talking about different things that we use for personal development. Different people we listen to, books we read, if there's any videos, audios, what your favorite things are, how it's helped you, you know, because everybody needs that mindset because we're always running into challenges. We're running into that little voice in your head that's always there, you know. It might be a defensive mechanism, you know, it might be skepticism. It might be, you know, just the layers and layers of doubting beliefs that have been just piled on over your greatness from when you were a little kid when you thought everything was possible. You know, you just get buried by limiting beliefs that always come back to haunt you. And everybody needs to break through. So anyway, I'm getting a little deep in there, a little bit of rah-rah, but what
Yeah.
do you
So,
what do you do?
so I'm prepared for anything like this. I heard Jem talking and go, uh-oh.
Oh, so you're just gonna freeze on
Then
us.
I guess you guys, or I think so. No, to pile up more limiting beliefs. And it's been one of my biggest struggles is overcoming some of those beliefs. There's things that I've been through in my life where basically I was held back by me down. I mean, like I'm talking now, I'll get in front of anybody in my life where I was
Hey Jerry, you're going in and out, man. You're freezing on us.
of
You're kind of freezing on us, Jerry.
because of things that let me just do a quick check here and see what my network connection is doing. And yeah, okay. My network it's owed to me. Hope it holds on long enough for something valuable.
Yeah, didn't make it.
Had we still broke here?
Yeah, you were frozen for about 30 seconds there.
Oh my. Okay, well, let me go kick my router here, and I'll jump back on a little bit after 7. I gotta take my son to Scouts here.
Well, now it's good.
Oh, of course it's good.
Of course.
Okay, well, I'll give it another shot here then. So, as I was saying, I piled up all these limiting beliefs over the years, and then back in 1983 or 1984, I had an incident occur that it triggered in me that said, you know, you need to get out of this. So basically, what I related that to was being stuck in a shell, and then this particular event, and I won't talk much about it because I've long since passed it, but I literally busted out of that shell and started becoming someone not as reserved, still battling limiting beliefs. So here I am now, a few years later, and since I started working with this team, I've started reading books that I hadn't thought about reading before, simply because, you know, I was with the government, I had a solid job. I had specific duties. I didn't have to think about much, just work a lot of heavy hours. And so when I started reading, that's one of the things that I had a discussion with Ray with shortly after I joined, because I was a little frustrated because I wasn't getting customers and people buying in, and so I was really frustrated, and so I started talking to Ray, asking me questions. Well, what about you? What's going on with you now? And so we had this little analysis between Ray asking questions and me pausing long enough to think about what had happened. And so I started off reading a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And I started realizing that I was making changes. I was reading every day, and these changes were coming. And so I had this aha moment that it wasn't just about building wealth. It was about building overall personal wealth, which includes not just monetary, but your self-being. And so I had that moment where I pray, much I changed. And now actually and told them, look, you know, now my goal is to retire. You need. So I've continued on that path, and I'm still trying to limiting beliefs, and I will eventually. I've got a laundry list. I'm not even going to go down that. I will tell you the breakthrough at Catalyst was a big help for me, and as I go by day and read, I've recently finished. Right now I'm listening to two things. One is primarily cognitive behavioral therapy. It's about retraining your brain. I'm learning that for two reasons. One, for myself, to help overcome these limiting beliefs that I have, some of them that are really ingrained, as well as helping my son, who has struggles with things, and we want to get him off his medication that they're using to help people with ADHD retrain themselves so they can free themselves and be more productive and more. I'm listening to that in audio. One of the core things that I read that helps me hold on through all of this is my scripture. I am very dedicated to serving in my church. I am responsible for all the teaching in the congregation that I go to, and so I stay involved and reading those scriptures, reading talks from the leaders in the church. They actually share stories about overcoming trials and challenge faith. That story that I put on the web in the group came from one of those talks, and it just really hit home with me. One, from the personal perspective religiously, but also as someone that's trying to grow in a business and overcome challenges. And so I felt just really poked hard that I had to, I figure if a 7-year-old girl can have the strength of heart to overcome literally death that was staring her in the face out there, never giving up, that there's still hope for me. So I have a lot of things that I look at every day. Books at work, got actual military leaders that are running around, and they talk about things that they've learned. So there's, I actually have about 4 journals that I keep. One is I got from The Slight Edge, a happiness journal that talks about gratitude, helping with your relationship, your physical health. He lists 7 items, so I have that. I've got a overcoming procrastination, because I've had some challenges with that lately with the overload of work I've had pushing off the big stuff. So yeah, I've got about four journals. I got one specifically just for. So I hit this stuff every day. I get up, I wake up at 4 o'clock. Yeah, so I have a lot. That's, I've brought a lot of baggage with me, and I've got a lot of baggage that I've gotten rid of already, but I still have some. So anyway.
Yeah, you're going in and out of there again, Jerry. But yeah, I get it. You're always saying you're doing something, but you got this. You're doing this, but and I there's one thing I learned is that the journey that we're on, that everyone is on their own personal journey, that's the destination. So you're there. You're there already. You know what I mean? You're never going to get to an end. There's no end, because you're always going to continue to be on a journey. Every time you overcome a challenge or overcome, something that an obstacle, you become, when you overcome it, you become balanced, because you know that it was there and you know how to take care of it. So now you come balanced at a higher level. But right after that, another challenge pops up, and it's something else that you need to overcome, and you move up another level. DeMartini calls it quantum jumps, right? And as we as humans deal with just the crap of everyday life and business and whatever, everything has challenges that we are faced with, that we need to realize that this is something to overcome. And then we get better, and then ready for the next one, because it always comes. It's never going to be always smooth sailing, right? But as you overcome, you get better, you get better, you get better. You take quantum jumps and move up.
Yep. So last article that I'm going back and studying says grateful in any circumstance, or grateful matter. That's pretty much what I'm working to be able to move forward, because sometimes discouragement can get quite overwhelmed. But there's always going to be an end. There's a beginning and there's an end to every trial that comes. And Ray is great about saying that there's literally opposites in everything. So whatever happens bad is going to compensate with something good. And so that's what I stay focused on, and I keep moving, and that's why I keep, staying in the business webinars, and when I can jump in the other webinars with these hours I'm working is a little bit nuts, but to get here, because it's the people in this team that makes the difference for me, and it's carrying over to my staff. They are a person that wants to literally leave the whole section and go someplace else because I'm going to be there. So I'm trying to convince her, wait, you haven't even given these new people a chance yet. Just relax. I'll be here for a little while. We'll do a little transition. If you're okay, stay with them. So, yeah. Anyway, I got to run my kid off to Scouts here.
Okay, man. Thank you for dropping in on us and sharing that great information. Thanks, Jerry.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a couple more books that I was going to share with you. Here's a good one. It doesn't have any, it's not really about business or mindset, but it is about learning. Tony Robbins. This is the Money, Master the Game. Seven simple steps to financial freedom. This is a good book. And again, I haven't read the whole thing, but part of my thing when I got into trouble financially, it's because I wasn't financially educated. I wasn't financially sound. I wasn't even financially aware. Um, and my whole gripe is, nobody teaches you that in school. I went to school all the way through college, and I never really got taught how to build wealth, how to create wealth, how to protect wealth, how to manage wealth. None of that. So I made it a point for me to learn, and I've been learning wherever I can, and I've been trying. I've been trying some crazy things, taking a lot of risks, thinking that, well, shit, I was at rock bottom before, so I've been there, done that, right? And it doesn't matter, but I don't want to go back there, so I'm not afraid to take risks because I know the worst it can get. But yeah, educating yourself on money is always good. I got this one here. It's called Influence. This is for business. This is directly for business, but it's The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. Influence. So he did like clinical studies on different ways of I guess influencing people to buy, and what people use, or how people make a buying decision, and how sales techniques can be used to influence that buying decision. Because ultimately you want the person to make a decision on buying something that will benefit them, and they feel that they're paying an amount of money that has the value that the product or service brings with it. So if they're happy to buy it, then that's a good thing. And sometimes that little skepticism, the little voice in their head, kind of talks them out of it. And it's just, he's got all kinds of techniques in here that is on the psychology of how people think and what influences them. So influence, the psychology of persuasion, and this will help in like your ad copies and stuff like that, or when you're talking with people, how to set things up. What else do I have? This is a new one I just got. Creative Capitalism. Again, it's money and knowledge on finances. A conversation with Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and other economic leaders. So it's always good to know about the economy. That way you don't get the wool pulled over your eyes. Meg, Joe, you guys got any last words before we close this out? Any other things you're looking at? Other people you listen to?
Yeah, I don't know about other people we're listening to, but I think what's really helped us is, like Jerry was talking about, overcoming limiting beliefs, and you were talking about how they don't teach you about money in school. And ironically, like Joe went to business school, like he has a degree in business, but they don't teach you anything about like starting a business. They teach you how to like be a CEO and whatever, you know. So what I think has been a huge benefit to us is taking all the things that we're learning and overcoming that belief that money is something that you have to be frustrated about, or that you have to have like a bad feeling about, because then you keep putting it like in this terrible, like, I hate money. I used to say that all the time. You say, I hate money. I hate money.
About it for hours.
I hate money. And I just watch it just fly through my hands. And it was like, fine, I hate you too. And it was never and it was very powerful, and I didn't recognize like the power in that statement until I started saying, you know, oh, I love this. I love that we just have money flowing in. And then it was like the minute I started saying that, it was like it started coming from all directions. Just money, funding, money, extra opportunities. And we were just like, wow, this is truly mind-blowing. So like, yeah, that anything that you can do to start overcoming that limiting belief that you don't deserve to have money, or like because you're in an industry where you are offering things for sale to people, that somehow makes you a bad person because you're a salesman, you know. And I think it's great to be able to offer something to people that they're excited about, that they need, that they want, and finding something that you feel really good about, you know, helps you overcome those limiting beliefs of, I feel guilty that I have more than what other people have, or, you know, I don't know. I mean, do you?
Yeah, definitely. And actually, Bentinho Massaro has a great YouTube video about overcoming limiting beliefs. But one thing that I wanted to say for sure that has helped me really maintain that more positive mindset and really grow as a person is actually being a member of this team.
Yeah.
Just like
For sure.
being able to jump on the Facebook group and just see just a ton of people that are helping each other and posting really positive and uplifting stuff and talking about success and working together.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's just such a cool and such a unique thing that you know, that getting involved with this family has really shown me, is that, you know, like, we're not in competition. That's not the way it works here. You know, all ships rise with the tides, and we're all in it, you know, together. And that that has been a really, really positive and powerful experience for me personally. Just knowing, you know, hey, you know, there's other people out there going through the same things we are, and we're all making it happen. We're all getting it done, and you know, helping each other uplift, and it's been really, really good.
Yeah, and when people share their success stories, and you're like, I knew it was possible. I totally knew that was possible, and now I'm actually seeing people that I've had an actual conversation with in real life. I'm seeing them making the kind of money that I'm sitting around dreaming about, and they're like, oh yeah, I got that, you know, okay, I know it's possible, now I can really go for it, now I can really see it, you know, happening to us, and
even beyond the money too, just
the
seeing
success
people's
stories.
mindset shift
Yeah.
is really amazing, because you see people, like, especially like, you know, somebody joins the group and you can see they're a little unsure, they're a little on the fence, they don't really know what they're doing, they're not very confident, and a few months later, you know, they're out there on webinars, and they're
like
you know, like doing stuff like this, and just making videos, and really taking charge of things, and that, you know, is a form of success that you really can't put a price tag on. It's much more powerful than money. So that has been a very beautiful experience, you know.
And like following everybody's YouTube channels, I think has been really cool. Like just seeing everybody shooting their personal videos and telling their stories, and like sharing their frustrations about what's going on in their personal life, and they're like, but this is happening, and this is happening too, and so good things are going on, and I just want to share that, and like, you know, so yeah, I mean, even though it is still like part of the group, like it's outside of the training, because it's just people being people, and sharing that benefit of experience, and yeah, it's a really good feeling, especially being, you know, we're very far away from our families, and so to have this, you know, connection to people, and to not have them think we're completely crazy for wanting to run our own business from home, and do the stuff that we're doing, like that's even more awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we're all in it together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if we're crazy, so are you guys. So you know,
Resonating. We're all resonating at the same craziness.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Pocky.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that and talking about the group that way. I feel it too. You know, I feel it all the time. I always, so when people fill out that questionnaire,
Right.
From the beginning, right after the webinar, I get those. You know, it gets passed out to me, Dan, Lynn, and Ray, and I read them, and I read the line in the sand moment, that question, and then I read what's happening in your life now that has you looking for an online business, and those two questions to me, oh, those are so powerful, because some people are really in need of something else, and I know if the thing is, we can show them what we have, they're going to have to walk through it. We can't make them. So all we can do is show them by showing them our own vulnerability.
Yep.
And by us being vulnerable, we're actually being powerful because we are sharing with them the fact that, hey, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
If if we can feel this way about this group, you can too. And like you said, it's not always about the money. It's
No. Yeah.
about connecting with people that are in the same boat, and we're all in the same boat, resonating at the same craziness.
Yeah.
I love it.
And willing to take the steps to do something about it. And that's, being around that is contagious.
It
So,
is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so
Yeah.
much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jem, you got some final words?
Hi, Packy. Yeah, I just on the take what you guys were just saying. I love the vibe of our group too. I feel that there's no competition, and it is really good to see everybody uplifting each other. And getting back to the limiting beliefs too, one of the biggest ones I've had to overcome is around scarcity and lack. And I don't know, I can't really pinpoint where that comes from because, I grew up in a middle class family. We always had enough. We weren't on the poverty line, but it always comes back to that subconscious fear of poverty and never having enough, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's whatever else. But I think Ray mentioned something the other week, and it was no man is an island, and that's so true in this business. And it's what drew me back to this group, because working together, we're all working towards the same goal, and it's just, some of us are a bit are along different stages, and we'll all eventually get there. Just not giving up and keep moving forward. So yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah, I was like I've said before, I've been involved in several different other like network marketing companies, home-based businesses, and they always say it's one of those figurative things. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I never felt that. I mean, I hear the words, but you don't really feel it. But here you feel it.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, it becomes tangible. It comes like real. You can feel it. So, yeah, that's cool. And I'm glad that we have a place like that, and that's only going to help us.
Yeah, exactly.
As you give, you get, right? And
so true. Yeah.
And service to others and everything that it all promotes goodness and gratitude. So.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jem. And we're a little over an hour. Thank you so much for jumping on all the way from down under. And Meg and Joe on the Big Island. And let's see, I think that's about it. That'll about do it for today. And if you've already seen our webinar that Ray or Nate or sometimes Kyle, sometimes myself, if you've seen that webinar that explains our business and it shows you what an online funnel is and how we have automated 90% of that funnel and how you can get involved, and you might have been on the fence and you wanted to know a little bit more and you saw this webinar, and now you're convinced that, okay, this is something that I want to do, then on this page should be a blue button. Let me check if it's there. 1 second. Yes, there is a blue button. It says join the success team. Fast track your success. Let's get you started. If you're ready to get started, click on that blue button. If you haven't yet and you want to check out or get more information, have somebody contact you, fill out the questionnaire, That's that orange button down below. So those are the two buttons. You can do this right below my picture, below this webinar screen. So if you scroll down, you can click on it and get started there. So today is April, what is it, 19, 20, 19. This video will be here for the next week. Next week, Tuesday, I'll have a new one. If you want to watch it later, go through it again, take some notes, whatever you want to do. We're here for a week. Click on the button below, get started now. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next week, and aloha.